We're back in the lounge for the final block of this webcast. Joining me are NFL experts Jason Phillips, Ellie Whittington, Myles Garrett. Now, guys, a lot has happened since the Broncos took home the Lombardi Trophy. We've got a bunch of offseason moves to talk about. You're going to tell me if it's a touchdown, it was a good move, or if it's a turnover, it's a bad move. Jason, kick us off. Talk to me about RG3. What's going on with RG3?
This seems like kind of a desperate move to me. The Browns know that their quarterback situation is awful. It's a disaster. Johnny Manziel didn't work out. They had to do something. Is this the right thing? I don't think so. I think it's a turnover. RG3 hasn't proven anything since his rookie year. He's been riding the bench. I just don't see how it's going to work out.
Well, I totally disagree. Like you said, the Browns need a quarterback.
They do.
Yes, so they signed RG3 for a one-year deal.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a trial and error. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, let him go.
Yeah,
so he has the option to sign or not.
I think they should address it through the draft, though. They're trying to sign someone who's been on the bench for a while. I say try to find someone in the draft and try to look to the future.
You see, I think this is a turnover for both sides, both RG3 and the Browns. You have RG3, a guy trying to get his career back on track with the Redskins, the train wreck that it was. And you have the Browns in desperate need of everything. They've lost Travis Benjamin at the wide receiver position, Alex Mack at center. They need a quarterback as well with Johnny Manziel out the door. They need everything.
So that's why it's a touchdown. They need a quarterback. Here's a quarterback that was once
Who's going to get killed?
Yeah, exactly.
With no weapons to throw to.
Behind that offensive line, he might get destroyed. I'm kind of worried for him.
He also needs to get control of a locker room. He struggled with that in Washington, and we don't know if he can do it in Cleveland.
Yeah, you know, for the Browns, I see this as a very low-risk deal for them. I do. But at the same time, I don't think the Browns have the tools in place for RG3 to be successful.
Absolutely.
He was successful. He did have moments,
Yeah.
you know.
His rookie season.
Exactly. His rookie season, he played very
ago.
well. And, like, hopefully he can get back to that. I just don't think it's going to be with the Cleveland Browns. So now, moving on, C.J. Anderson re-signed with the Broncos, $18 million for 4 years. Ellie, what's going on? Touchdown, turnover?
I think it's definitely a touchdown. He was the only player to score an offensive touchdown in the Super Bowl. So I think we would kind of be crazy to go anywhere else. Obviously, the Broncos are a good team. I think they'll still be strong. And I think that was the best decision for him to make. The other option was the Dolphins. Why would you want to go play for the Dolphins if you can play for the Broncos?
That's a good question.
So.
Fair enough,
And
fair enough.
especially after losing Peyton Manning, then losing Brock Osweiler on top of that, they had to keep him to try to retain something on their offense. You know, his production last year wasn't quite as good as his rookie season. He dropped off a bit. But he was still decent at that position, and I say they had to keep him.
Yeah, I have to agree with both of you guys on that one. C.J. Anderson, he's proven to be a workhorse. You saw it in the playoffs this year, even against New England when he had that huge game. He was AFC Offensive Player of the Week. And I give John Elway benefit of the doubt. He's proven to be a great GM. He drafts well. He gets free agents well. And I think C.J. Anderson was a good get for them. And he can even catch out of the backfield.
Yeah.
He can help out whoever the new quarterback is going to be, whether that's Mark Sanchez or someone else they address in the draft.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. And at the end of the day, you're bringing back a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah,
you know, on the offensive side of the ball, which is huge for any team that's looking to repeat. So I think it's definitely a win for them. Brock Osweiler for the Texans signed a 4-year, $72 million contract. What's up with that, Myles? Touchdown, turnover.
I got to give that a turnover. Brock Osweiler, he only played in 8 games. 8 games last year, and the amount of money he got, $37 million guaranteed. That is more than Super Bowl winners Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger. This is a guy who's only played in 8 games.
Yeah.
Granted, he did perform pretty well. It wasn't great. He performed well.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going with touchdown.
You're going to go with touchdown?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm going
all right,
with
fair
touchdown.
enough.
Because I think the Texans just really said, I need him. And the GM and the GM and the head coach were like, we're going to pay whatever we're going to pay. So they are paying $72 million.
Yeah.
And I guess if they feel that he's going to lead them, then
I don't
it's
see
their
why
touchdown.
the Texans insist on signing backup quarterbacks year
They
after
do
year.
this
That's
all the
a
time.
gaping hole on their offense on an otherwise acceptable roster. I mean, they did it with Brian Hoyer. Before that, it was Ryan Fitzpatrick. Why are they trying to bring in another backup? I don't understand. And for that kind of money, that's ridiculous.
It's absolutely absurd.
You also have to take into account the Texans are not the Broncos as far as a team that he's played
Yeah,
with.
Exactly. Yeah, he
It's
doesn't
not
have
gonna
the
be the same
pieces around
results.
him to be successful. It's an absurd signing, in my opinion. It's desperate at the end of the day. So closes out Jason. Olivier Vernon for the Giants. Historic 5-year, $85 million contract.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
I think that's another ridiculous deal. I mean, he's getting paid more per year than J.J. Watt, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, and he's not worth that. I mean, he racked up a whopping 7.5 sacks last year. I don't understand why anyone would give him that kind of money.
Yeah.
I agree with James. Definitely a turnover. I mean, this is the richest contract for a defensive end, and he's not worth it.
I have to agree with both of you on that as well. He's making more than J.J. Watt. This was a guy who performed decent. He had a good season. He was the best available defensive end on the market this year. And the Giants way overpaid this guy. I mean, they signed Janoris Jenkins and Damon Harrison along with him. They pulled the Washington Redskins on this.
Yeah.
They went all out in free agency, and history has proved free
doesn't
agency
work.
winners, they don't win in the regular season.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this offseason was a defensive players market, and he definitely took advantage of that.
He did,
he's
absolutely.
just not worth
He was
that
the
kind of
biggest
money.
winner.
All right. Well, thank you guys for that analysis. That's all for this episode of the 101 Sports Webcast. If you'd like to watch it all again, be sure to check us out at youtube.com/101sports. On behalf of the talent, crew, and all our producers here at the show, thank you for tuning in. And as always, whose side are you on?